wanted to talk about Darktide quickly, like because the full game released, and it's a real disappointment. It's a real disappointment. The beta was about. Oh, I love the game, but and I love playing the game. But it's an early access game that's been sold. They prioritized an in-game store over keeping their promises to have 70 weapons on release and along with the classes. There's bugs that ruin certain perks and classes and traits and such that haven't been tended to. The optimization is awful. It crashes a ton for a lot of people. Obviously, I've fixed ththose issues with a very expensive PC, but not everybody can do that. And worst of all, this is the scummiest thing. Like they are, maybe it's changed since this afternoon, but they promised it was going to be a day one release on the what's the thing Xbox has where you get the game pass, the game pass or whatever. Yeah, okay. But it's not on there, and that's what they're referring to as crossplay. By the way, if you bought the thing on the Game Pass on PC, because this game is not on Xbox, and if they ever get to run on the Xbox, I'll be surprised. There's so many Xbox guys on their subreddit being like, "Hey, I can't find it on the Game Pass. Where's it at, guys? Do you have to like go through a folder?" And they're like, "Oh, you poor little man. Were you thinking today was the day that you would be able to play the game with us?" No. No, they think
shitty.
They say someday, soon, you'll be able to play with us. And
isn't the Xbox like the most like this new Xbox, like the most powerful console ever by a lot?
Yeah, the
and
Xbox
it can't handle it.
Well, I don't know if it can't handle it or if they just haven't gotten around to getting that all sorted. But they promised that it would be like right after the PC versions. That's another like lie if it's not on there. But it not being on the pass for PC users is nonsense. And they said that for some reason, if you bought the game on Game Pass, utilizing that being able to get it for free, that's cross-platform play. They're saying to play with Steam PC players, even though you're both on PC. And that doesn't work, they're saying. I've read that doesn't work, that the PC players, the Steam players can't play with, or the PC players on Steam can't play with the ones who bought it on Game Pass, which is a huge fuck up as well, if that's true. And it's the whole thing's a bit disappointing that I don't know.
They should have pushed it back more because it's still clearly not done.
The worst part, I think, is that they've got that monetization's just right in there, right off the bat, working perfectly. Like it's like, oh, you can go right over here right away, and you can like spend your real money and buy coins. And of course, the coins aren't spent in round numbers, so you always have to buy more because you've got leftover coins. Bullshit. Meanwhile, they don't have the full features in the game, like the crafting. You can't craft weapons still. They don't have their weapon crafting in. There's still no leaderboard. Like it's real annoying.
I bought the expensive version of the game, which was only $60, I think, but it came with 3,000 coins. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna come into this game rich. 3,000 coins is fuck all coins. That's like I suck, and I can earn that many coins in 40 minutes, maybe. Go ahead, Kyle. Am I wrong? Do I have this off?
So there's like 4 kinds of currency in the game. So you could be off or on at the same time, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. I had a lot of like the coin you get from missions that you use to buy weapons in that store. I had a lot of that coin. So while they did give me a boost of it that seemed significant, I didn't really notice how much. I think the coins that you might get are the coins you spend in that cosmetic store that are like comparable to real money, that you have to buy them with real money. I think that's what those coins are for.
So there's 2 types of coins.
That's like $20. I think it's like a $10 or $20 value of that if it's 3,000 coins in that store. 15 maybe.
Yeah.
But you can go in there and you can buy like some really cool gear. The stuff that you earn to wear by doing hard things in the game pales in comparison to what $15 will get you. Yeah. I've got a golden skull mask, and fucking like my character's got huge shoulder pads with scrolls rolling off of her everywhere. Cool. Yeah, it's awesome. So no, I love the game.
Low price of $15.
Yeah, I love the game, and it's like I've been psyched about it forever. And it's like, oh, it doesn't run well. Well, we'll need a new PC. But not everybody can.
Kyle's about $4,100 into this game so far.
Yeah,
And there's no leaderboard, and some of the maps don't work apparently. Like
they added 3 maps. The
sucked.
difference between here's the thing: the difference between the beta, like the early access beta, and the full release is 3 maps, and I don't remember what else.
That's not a good sign.
No,
And all those
it's
seemingly
frustrating.
little things they could have fixed aren't fixed. Really disappointing.
Yeah,
Very disappointing. After being delayed like almost a year to just not fucking get it together in time for release.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you blame the developers or it's really frustrating when they've got like their mouthpiece, who's like their representative, who's just outright lying for them. His job must suck because they're hitting him with like screenshots. They're like, dude, you said this. And now it's that.
Is he getting like 402'd?
Yeah, for sure.
I never.
So,
402. Was that a 420 reference?
No, he was the original community manager, wasn't he? For Call of Duty?
Yeah. But how do you
you're
think he
asking what
chose
the
his name?
significance of 402 is? I always assumed
I thought it was an area
like,
code.
like an LA area code or something like that. That maybe meant something to other people, but not to me.
Yeah, he basically got roasted. I am like the Call of Duty community managers would be able to weather the Vermintide storm like it was, a drizzle. I would imagine, just based on how big the games were. Those guys got harassed so bad, the Call of Duty guys. And they never, what I remember with like JD 2020 and 402 is they would like not do the thing that like some community managers do now, which is like, sorry, everyone, this is the situation. We apologize for the delay. And that's all we can say for now. Back then, they'd be like responding to individuals like, I know you're upset. I'm sorry about this. And they're like, so you do admit there's a problem. Like doing that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
Then what are you apologizing for?
yeah, if you didn't do anything wrong, don't apologize.
We got him, boys.
We thought we made him think apologizing was a good faith measure. No, it was an admission of guilt. Now he knows we hate him.
Yeah,
It
so
was
very
so fucking
disappointing.
toxic.
So all of that stuff I said is very disappointing. I'm sure in time some of it will be addressed, but I would hold off on buying it if you don't have like a cutting edge PC, or you care about any of that stuff I mentioned that's just not in the game. It's still an early access game, and I'm okay with that, but I doubt you shouldn't be.
Yeah, needing a cutting edge PC to even play it marginally is bullshit. That's ridiculous.
I don't know why it's so far behind schedule because they delayed it by a year. I've been on software projects and I swear half of it gets written in the last month. And I think that's what happened. They're like, oh, it's not fucking done. All right, you have 12 more months. I'm hearing 11 months vacation.
Yeah.
Another month to get it done.
Oh, let me give them credit for one thing though. Everyone, a big complaint from the beta players early on, the earliest versions of the beta, was that the weapons didn't have like very detailed statistics for them. They just had this generic number assigned to them along with their rarity. They just had a number that's 250, 327. Nobody knew what that fucking meant. And they were like, well, that number is being divvied up into those yellow bars. Those yellow bars need numbers on them, and I need to know exactly what each one of those bars represent. And they're like, why? It's like, dude, do you like the mod that I used to play on Vermintide showed me such nitty gritty stuff down to decimal points, repeating. And so like they did that. So now when you inspect a weapon, it breaks down like how much damage it does to every enemy in the game on the various difficulties, all of its weapon combos, what it's good at, how those numbers are being integrated into various traits of that weapon, and then explaining what those traits are. Imagine that. They did all of that in the last month or two. But I can see little things where like there's an ability in the game where it's like, hey, would you like a second charge of your power? It's like, yeah, I would. It's clear that initially it was 3 charges because the visual for that little, whatever you call it, has 3 little dots instead of 2. And like they just haven't gone back to fix that because either they don't know or they're working so hard that they haven't gotten to it. I don't fucking know. It's frustrating though.
Probably the people that can fix the code and the people that can fix the artwork are different people.
I would think so. So like, what's the artwork guy doing today,
Yeah.
right
this.
now. I mean, he's in Oslo right now, asleep. But like when he wakes up in a few hours, what's he gonna fucking do?
Not add a scorecard, not add a
Make a map.
not make a map. Certainly no jungle maps. Apparently,
Any pussy who like gets bit butthurt over a goddamn scoreboard and doesn't see that as motivation to improve yourself shouldn't be playing a goddamn video game. Like you need a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Like the fantasy world that the rest of us normies go to was too fucking hard for you. So you need a fantasy inside of that fantasy world where like the made up numbers don't even matter.
every time you get a kill, there's like a VO that's like, wow. Like, oh, nice, great, you're the best.
This game is appealing to me. I want compliments with every kill.
Call of affirmations over here.
Call of affirmations.
And the game is too
person.
hard. I want it to be sort of a field where I just take down flowers.
Yeah, I want the game to be brutally difficult if I want it to be, and I want it to make me feel bad because I am bad, and then I want
With
to
every
try
kill,
hard
I
and
should
improve.
get compliments and rainbows sprouting from the dead flower.
It'll work.
Cocksuckers.
People won't like that though. People want brutality. They want to see how many
Yeah.
specials they killed. We don't have to talk about the scorecard yet because we've all gone off on the scorecard.
For so many times.
It's not just this game, and it's not just score. It's like all games. They did. I think Battlefield 2042 did something similar where they like did something funky to the scoreboard to appease the people who play a 45-minute game of Battlefield and don't actually get anything done.
How do you play a whole game? I mean, that's how I would play Battlefield. Like I played once at a friend's house, like whatever one came out in like 2006, and it was just first thing I noticed is the dude breathes like I would breathe when I was running. This guy must have skipped cardio and then like futzed his way through boot camp because the guy used to go and you could hear the clunk, and I remember the movement of the guy running, and all I did was just like run up to a building and get blown up by an IED and then teleport 300 yards away and then huff and puff to my next death. That game sucks. Never got into Battlefield.
It's better if you play
It's
with
not
friends.
because I was bad.
No, there must be another explanation.
It's because I'm too good for it. And
That's exactly
something. Yeah.
So many games I've been too
It's
good
because
for.
my talents are better utilized elsewhere.
I'm watching Bleach, waiting for the new episode of Bleach to come out, which hasn't been out in years. So I'm waiting for the new episode of Bleach to come out, and I'm playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The year is not 2009. The year is 2022. And I'm playing
it comes
Modern
out,
Warfare 2, waiting for the new Bleach.
Wait, I saw you
that-
tweet that. Yeah.
Yes, my man.
Yeah, it comes out tomorrow. It comes out tomorrow, huh? The new COD for us, it's tomorrow. It's 28th, I think.
Man, the
Zach said
single
earlier
player,
midnight. Is that Eastern?
I played the
Oh,
single
at midnight.
player.
Well, yeah, that's today's
Midnight
20
Eastern?
I love Call of Duty
An
single
hour.
players. Always love them. They're so good. I really do enjoy them. This one, and like the last Modern Warfare, there has been a bunch where I didn't like, but the last Modern Warfare was one of my favorite Call of Duties ever. It was so fucking sick. The night vision house level where they
That
go
was
to
great.
the house, that level was amazing.
That's why I bought the game.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. And it looked so real, and they're going up the stairs. It was incredible.
I watched the video of the playthrough earlier, like a couple days ago.
I watch it all the time.
Someone.
I watch it all
Yeah.
the time, like in 4K.
Slick.
And there's like also like
Yeah.
a million ways to go through the level. It's a phenomenal. I like that game. Like I really like it.
I'm not gonna buy this one, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't like multiplayer. I played the beta, and I was like, I don't care about this single play about
Same.
this multiplayer. Like
Same.
just brr, 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 die over and over.
Same. And like a weird, like almost like they added like a vehicle to it, and it seemed really fucking silly. But yeah,
I didn't love it. I mean, it was good. There wasn't anything wrong with it. It's just not. I don't like multiplayer COD anymore. So I don't
Same.
see playing. I don't see playing full price for the campaign. That's kind of the campaign I've already played before.
No, the campaign is fast, and I think Modern Warfare is a superior campaign.
Yeah. Okay.
There's like a level in this one that's like an Uncharted type level. You're jumping on the backs of trucks, and I could see what they were going for,
Mhm.
but it plays out like really silly, fucking goofy arcadey. It's not like cool next level cinematic like the Call of Duty thing. It's not that
I feel like
house level for Modern
when a Call of
Warfare.
Duty character jumps onto a truck, he barely makes it. You know, he like they're not super athletes; they're just dudes.
And not only that, you're running.
oftentimes-
You're
Yeah.
running and jumping in the first person view, so it's not like thrilling really. It's kind of like platformy weird. And the best parts in the game, like that would even be close to on par with that one level in Modern Warfare where you're clearing the house. The best part of the games, The game is actually super short, and then the silly stuff is really long.
Yeah.
And it's not a long campaign.
I'm gonna play the. They've got like a Tarkov mode. Doesn't matter what it's called, but a mode where like you take gear in, you lose it, somebody takes it, that sort of
DMZ.
thing.
I heard about that.
And then they've got the battle royale mode, which I keep Warzone 2 or whatever. So both of those are free to play though. You just download those and fucking play them. It'll be later on, like he just wrote. I think he just put the date in, maybe the 16th of next month.
DMZ is going to be free.
I think they're both free. That was my understanding. But I'm not going to pay for DMZ because I've got Tarkov. And Tarkov's
Right.
perfect.
You got the original Tarkov. You don't need Wish.com Tarkov.
I mean, if everybody starts playing it, I'll jump on a bandwagon.
This one also had like a level. It was like you like break glass and like then you pick up the glass and you got to find tape and you use the tape to like glue the glass together and people are looking for you and you're finding pieces and crafting stuff. And it's like kind of like a little Die Hard vibe.
I saw someone get a fan blade and like open a door with it or something.
It's not as good though as you'd want. Like what I liked about Modern Warfare was how fucking like that time it was. The going through the house and shooting was like perfect. And when I saw the trailers for this one, they were like pulling up on the U-boat and they're going on the oil rig and they're fucking the black wetsuits and it's raining and they got the MP5 sign. Like I love that whole time, that era, that aesthetic, that scenario. I love that. Anything that's remotely close to SOCOM, US Navy SEALs 1 or 2 is I love that shit. And that's what it was. But then when the game came out, there's like these bigger set pieces than that, and they don't really lean into like the actual Modern Warfare 2, where remember it was like Burger Town and you're defending Burger Town. It was like a fucking, if you're gonna do that, fine, make it like a crazy next level super fucking battle in the middle of the street. It's never really quite there, and it's never really quite the house. And they tried a few things here. And and I got Gotham Knights, and maybe you guys don't give a shit, but I don't recommend that game to anyone.
Don't
console, especially. No.
What's the gameplay?
It's like Batman Arkham Asylum, except you could choose between the 4 of the Bat family. And I saw that. I fucking hate, but I like Arkham Asylum. I hate when they have the formula and then they fuck it up. I hate that. I hate, like, you had the Batman game 3 times deep. You know how to make it. Why didn't you just make this one like that? Why'd you have to do this silly shit?
Well, they got to get experimental.
Well, they wanted to make it like, it looks like they wanted to make it like that Avengers game that came out and the Division, where it was one of those games as a service, which is like, to me, has been the worst era of video gaming ever. We've ruined multiplayer and single player games, in my opinion, at the same time with that bullshit. I don't like that style of game where you're like
games as a service,
like Destiny, where you play it. And I like love Destiny was great. Destiny 2, I'm like, I'm done with this shit. Division and Division 2, I'm kind of done with it. I don't like where you roll through this raid and you play this level like 10 times, hoping you get the gun that you want. And when you shoot a guy in the head with your gun, if it's not the right level, it's not going to kill him in the head. I like when a bullet in the head kills someone.
Oh, that sounds like Vermintide. Or Darktide.
That's different though, but you're not like holding like an MP5 and a human. You're like a fucking orc or whatever. Or like you have a sword. It's like, that's different. The vibe is different for me.
Okay.
Once I'm holding a gun and I'm a human being and I look like a human being and that's a human being and he has a baseball cap on and I shoot him in the head and it says like -5 damage. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck you. No, it's not how it should be.
Had cheats, which is called like chess.com. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I wanted to briefly tell you what's going on with Tarkov. So
I was going to talk about that.
This is pretty shitty. What they've done here. Tarkov's a big video game made by Battlestate Games, a Russian company that operates out of London. And long ago, they introduced a version of their game called the EOD edition, the Edge of Darkness edition, which all of us who love the game purchase. It's like $150, $140 for this version of the game, $100 extra dollars, and it's a better version. It's not pay to win though. They just get you. They just don't make it so hard. They make it a little bit easier to play. And there are a few things, and everybody bought that version that loves the game. And part of that thing was the EOD version. It says all future DLCs will be free. So when you're in an early access situation like I was 3 or 4 years ago, it's like, this is going to be a big game. This is going to be a multi-year game. This will be a game 5 years from now.
Can I jump in just to help? But at the time, it's a beta game, and you're buying the game based on its future.
Yes. And so the idea of paying that $150, I was like, I'm helping them further develop their game, and they have promised in return that they're not going to nickel and dime me in the future. They're not going to say, hey, we've got a new this, $5, a new that, $10. It's like, I don't like that. Well, they got rid of the Edge of Darkness edition in January. They stopped selling it. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I've got mine. And eventually, it was an early access thing, and they're moving very close to full release, like the part where they like wipe their hands and we're done. They've released a new version of the game. This one costs $250, and it gives you some pay to win shit. And so they want another $100 out of me to have the good version of the game now, even though I was promised that nothing like this could even possibly happen. And one of the things is an offline co-op mode so that you and your friends can go in and play like a horde mode. And it's like, that's DLC. That's what you promised was going to be free going forward. And there's also and they also give you, this is a game that has AI in it as well as other enemy players. And so the AI will blow your cover sometimes. They'll be sniping at you and shit. There's a part of buying the $250 version is you can get a thing that makes it so that the AI doesn't shoot at you anymore if they're 60 meters away. So now you don't have to worry about, there's a mechanic where there are snipers up on like rooftops and stuff as you traverse the game, and they'll shoot at you from hundreds of meters away. And it's like, holy fuck, he's going to kill me. He blew my arm off. No longer. Don't worry about that. You paid the $250. And the entire Tarkov has this very tightly knit community of content creators. Yes, they are all, people are changing their names. They're like, I'm not Noise Tarkov anymore.
Yes.
I ain't my name no more.
I'm just Noise Guy.
I'm just Noise, not Noise Tarkov. Fuck that shit. People, pretty much universally, all the content creators aren't just are saying what I'm saying. This is bullshit. They've lied to us. We need to find a new game. I'm not going to play that game anymore. That is
people. I'm really curious about the streamers that you brought up. Like that, you and I could each name half a dozen guys who have made a career out of streaming that game. And if they pick up any other game, their audience wishes they were playing Tarkov.
Gray Zone. Gray Zone's the one of the newer Tarkov clones, and it's very close. It's still in early access. It's not released yet. It's not just early access. It's like pre-alpha or whatever you'd want to call it. Like only early access for streamers and shit. It would seem like I can't play the game, but that game seems very close. It's just a clone, and there's 2 or 3 more. Something is going to knock them off now. And here's the reason this is all happening. They spent a huge amount of their money, not on developing, not on anti-cheat, which is their biggest problem, but on promoting the arena mode that they dropped back last fall. And they thought this new game mode that cost $40, which we got for free because we had EOD. We didn't have to tack on $40. This new arena mode that's just, instead of this heavy, in-depth storyline quest with thousands of hours required, it's just get in there and get after it kind of mode of their game. Very simplified, like 4 versus 4 or 5 versus 5 or something. Arena mode. It bombed. Nobody likes it. Everybody hates it. There's no way anybody's playing it right now. I bet you'd have a hard time getting a match. And I think they wasted tens of millions of dollars, not just on developing it, because most of it was already there, but on promoting it, because they were doing all of the big trade shows, all of the big like E3 and stuff like that. And they did range days where they'd have like spend $3 or $4 million and they'd fly all their content creators out. They'd shoot machine guns and shit and do promo and stuff. And all that money just went poof and it's gone. And now they're trying to make up for it. I'm sure there's investors that are wanting their paydays. It's a goddamn shame because it's a great game, but that's a bridge too far for me. That's like
terrible developing company though, right? Somebody had a real gem of an idea 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was, to build a shooter that was hyper realistic, and the gun play, like the gun knowledge, the way that you assemble your guns and your shields and stuff is so realistic and complicated. You practically need a tour guide to get started with it. And everything else pales in comparison after you experience the complexity of what is real life guns and gun building. And since then, it seems like they haven't done anything right. Their anti-cheat is absolutely awful. What it is too much of it was built into the client side. So you can't really detect cheaters if everything's happening on my system. Like you tell me if you got the hit. Yeah, I'll let you know. And that's how the software works by and large. You tell me if where you are. I'm flying. Okay, if you say so. But that stuff needs to happen on the server side where there's more rules. And it is hard to tell the difference between, say, dropped packets between my computer and yours and cheats. So, I just run a little faster. I don't cheat, but people run a little faster. People fly a little bit. And I can't tell if you're flying or if you just drop some packets and zipped over there. I don't know.
And it's such a punishing game that just there's a cheat that makes it so when your legs are broken, you can still run and don't worry about it. Oh my God, it's such a big deal.
Yeah.
In the game, when your legs are broken, it's like, well, they got me. They got me now. Like when you see a guy running through a field, it's hard to hit him right in the head because he's running, and it's like real life trying to use a rifle. It's hard. Shoot him in the legs. You shoot him in the legs, and he's crippled out there. He starts walking at the speed of smell or something. And you can just pick him off. I don't know.
The game is the category of it is a
this.
looter shooter. So you go out into this field, you kill people, and you bring back the stuff you want to have. It gives you money, makes your character better next time around. Well, your client knows where all the stuff is. It knows where all the valuable loot is. So if your client is a cheat, it tells me, right? If it was all server side like it was supposed to be, then that information wouldn't be available for me to cheat. But here we are.
Yeah.
So,
extraction. That's what it is.
So these are all the flaws in a otherwise the best available game.
it's a poorly written game around a fantastic idea.
It's so fun to play because in Call of Duty, you just kind of like pick a gun and go shoot at people. In this game, there's this in-game currency that you are always trying to accrue and make more of, rubles, and you use that to buy new guns. And now you own that gun, and it's in your like stash in the game. But then when you want to go play, you're like, all right, I'll take this gun in. If you die, I'm picking that shit up and I'm taking it back to my stash, and I can use it later on, or I could sell it for rubles myself and keep the money flow going. So there's also quests that keep the players like always grinding for more things and going to these locations. So you're always bumping into people and having these very intense gunfights. There'll be gunfights where like I kill your buddy and you kill my buddy and we're on the other side of a wall, and I'll be like, bro, yeah, can we just like rewind a little? I feel like things got out of hand there. Like your boy's dead, my boy's dead. How about we just go our separate ways? I pick my guy's shit up, you pick your guy's shit up, and I'm trying to get out of here. I got some circuit boards. I need to get back home. And he'd be like, dude, I got circuit boards too. Yeah, let's do that. And it'll be straight because he'll legitimately like be honest about it. And you'll both just leave and go your separate ways. That happens so much because the punishment for us fighting and losing isn't worth it. It's like real life a little bit. You'd probably do the same thing, you know?
I love these stories because Kyle in real life has maxed out charisma, and he uses that to his advantage in a shooting video game. And it works. It works. I feel like my autistic ass would get shot in the ass.
I wanted to talk to you about the Abu Dhabi situation. Do you know about Scorn? Have you seen Scorn?
Yes, and I tried it, and I definitely overhyped it in my head because I was very hyped for that game for 3 years, and I didn't expect a sexy, slow-paced puzzle game.
Yep.
I had something different in my mind, and that's on me.
Yep.
But it is a beautiful game. It looks like concept art the entire time.
We're of the same mind 100,000%. I thought I was getting into a nasty version of Dead Space. And it turned out I was getting into the grossest, nastiest H.R. Giger turned loose puzzle game.
Yeah.
Ever. It is first and foremost a puzzle game, right? And it is as much a puzzle game as it is a horror game. And it has a very, very weird art style. If you're familiar with H.R. Giger, he designed the alien from the Aliens movie. They tempered him down, and they ended up with the xenomorph. The xenomorph he drew had like sexy dick sucking lips. Yeah. And like it was wild. Like it was very sexy and like evil and like a succubus alien monster. This game is full of the weirdest, nastiest visuals I've ever seen. It's just all sorts of bizarre shit. I still can't tell you exactly what the game's about, and I've played hours of it. You're essentially in some parallel dimension in a biomechanical fortress, underground / maybe ship, where we create humans out of eggs to like, but the life is like meaningless. It's more of like a human producing farm, and I don't know what we're doing with the bodies. Like they seem so useless. Like it's like they're like bodies are thrown aside like wood chips everywhere, and I don't know what they're doing with the bodies, and everything is shaped like a cock or a pussy, and it's weird. And when you get into combat, the gun is this gross thing you have to like put your
coolest part though. I love that gun. It was really cool.
The guns were what I saw in the teasers years ago, and
they're like not the best part of the game.
Not only that, it's not a shooter. You're not. I watched somebody's video, and they were like having a hard time, dying a lot. I fired the gun twice in my playthrough. I died twice in my playthrough. you're doing it wrong. And I was like, oh, that's right. It's a puzzle game, not a shooter. When you see an enemy, you should think, he doesn't want to fuck with me. This is like a bobcat walking across the street. Sure, I can go pick a fight, but I could just take one step back and he's going to keep walking across the street because he has no interest in us as the player.
Right.
Because he's a fucking weird parallel dimension Wookiee monster that wants to go in that wet wall over there and wiggle. It's a fucking gross ass.
But if you shoot him, he might attack you.
he will absolutely attack you and probably kill you because your gun is weird.
But
Everything
it sounds
is
like it's a
weird.
bait. It's to trick you into using the gun when that's not even the point, huh?
Yeah. It's a weird. It's better to watch videos of that than to play it. Although it is free on Game Pass.
Okay, but wait, real quick though, because I know we're near the end. Kyle, Woody, you guys ever play Pokemon?
That's Taylor.
Pokemon Go, I've played. Taylor's
Josh,
really good.
you played Pokemon though, right?
First
Or,
three
like,
generations.
So, what was the first Pokemon you ever chose in your entire life?
Totodile. I got gold version first.
And what was his name?
I just named him Totodile because I wanted to know what his evolutions were named.
What was the Pokemon character? What was the species?
He was a Totodile. He was a little blue alligator.
Okay, I don't know Pokemon at all.
Harley, stop trolling Woody.
No,
so
this is important.
confused.
Wait, this is important. It's because I want you to know when I was on ketamine and I left that after hours and I was walking. Here's
Is that
what
what's
happened.
happening?
Listen what happened. Listen what happened.
Like-
Listen what happened. Listen what happened.
All right.
It's crazy. Listen what happened. Okay?
Shit.
Stop interrupting me. Shh. Oh, you want to talk? Oh, no, you want to talk? You talk. You talk. You want to talk? Go. Go. No, go. Talk. You talk. Okay, wait, listen. I was on ketamine.
Did I
And
interrupt?
hear me out. Hear me out. And then we'll get the fuck out of here.
My bad.
It's okay. I have to share this stupid thought that happened in my brain, but I was on the drug and I was walking outside and I saw an owl. It was a sculpture wooden owl and really high. All good. All ideas are good ideas in your brain when you're on this drug. I'm walking. I saw this owl and I was like, and this is such a stupid thought. I don't know why I had to share this, but I never shared it out loud. I want to share it on the podcast. I saw the owl and I was like, and I don't play much Pokemon, as you could see. When I saw the owl, I was like, I bet if owls didn't exist in real life and an owl was in Pokemon and they showed it and they were like, a new Pokemon appears, and then the owl's head turned 180 and then it said its name was Owl. That's exactly what Nintendo would have named an owl if it was a Pokemon instead of actually being in real life. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I know
I
it sounds
don't think so.
long. If
I know
owls
exactly.
didn't exist in real life, but they existed in Pokemon,
They would still be called owls.
they would still be called owls.
just makes
That is like
sense.
the perfect name,
That's
just
profound.
as much as
You
Pikachu
look at that and you show us a picture of an owl, Zach. When you look at an owl, you just think, owl.
100. Pull it up, and I have a 15-minute owl video. I want us to
There is there's an actual Pokemon called a Hoot Hoot. So I was thinking maybe that was,
That's what humans would have called it if we were.
I love I'm a big ornithology buff. I could go on for hours. What's your favorite kind of owl?
I gotta say, Hoot Hoot now. Probably my favorite owl if I had to pick one.
I
This is a
think
beautiful owl, by
that
the way.
really was, man.
The American barn owl. Okay, the noble American barn owl. He's
Shit.
looking out for us. You ever
Is that
take
a real
part?
owl?
American barn owl.
You ever dissect one of those pellets that they vomit up in class?
Yeah, all the time. No, I really didn't.
Yeah, we did in
Noble
class.
American.
They eat all these
barn
little like
owl.
mice and shrews and critters, and then they vomit up the fur and the bones and these
Bones.
pellets. And then we dissected them in class, and like reassembled the little mice. It was really fun.
Bro, owls are crazy. What do you think?
I'm a big fan of the Hoot Hoot also. Owls are overrated. I think people act like owls are the coolest shit in the world. I mean, I guess they're silent and stealthy, but they're better critters.
I thought they said who.
They do say who.
You guys want me to wrap this one up? You want me to hit
Is it who or is it hoot? It's hoot,
Or
isn't
hoot.
it? It's
Hoot is
clearly
a party
hoot.
owl. That's a party
Hoot.
owl.
Hoot.
Who's a better owl? All right, there's that potato chip owl, and then there's the lollipop owl.
Definitely Lollipop, man. Come on.
Lollipop.
1, 2, hoot, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking Lollipop also.
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to play the Modern Warfare 3 beta or no?
I have not
No,
played a COD in years. Does it
so
look
I
good?
played when a game comes out, I put a tremendous amount of time in it real fast. Darktide came out and I burnt out on that game in like 220 hours in 3 weeks or something stupid. Every time. So when COD came out last year, same thing, and like maxed all that shit out, unlocked all that shit, dealt with the UAV not working the way I wanted it to, and just eventually got to my level cap basically, where all right, this is as good as I am.
Yeah.
They're never gonna let these people I'm playing against are as good as me, and I'm not getting any better because I'm 30 fucking 6 years old. Like I'm not getting better at COD this year.
Yeah.
So I got burnt out on that. I don't think I'm going back to COD this year either.
It's interesting. I mean, did you guys know they're bringing back like the launch slate of maps is literally the same 16 maps that launched with Modern Warfare 2
Really?
2009. Yeah. So they're
Okay, that might actually get
The guns
me.
too.
the guns. I don't know.
I saw
about
somebody
the
with like a
guns.
MW2 Scar on Favela.
Like
Like that chop. Like
I don't think they're bringing back the guns. I mean, they're like there's like a version of the ACR. They call it something else because they're no longer using those names anymore. And then there was like the Striker, which was the UMP. But there's also like new guns. So like but yeah, they're basically doing like a nostalgia bomb because on social media, Modern Warfare 2 got shit on because they did some things that kind of slowed down the movement and you could argue like encouraged more kind of campy behavior. And even though the game was like tremendously successful, they just got a lot of shit on social media. And
COD did you say?
COD well, I mean, I feel like even more than usual last year. It was
That's
like
a lot. It was more than
when we
usual.
play, when I've played recently, the last few years, we've tried to use all of the equipment and be as shitty as possible. And like Kill Confirmed, we'll go up high into a building or a trailer, so they have to go upstairs to get to us.
Yeah.
And set up those microwaves at the doors and whatever the thing is you throw down that anybody throws a grenade or anything, a trophy system.
Trophy
Systems and microwaves, and all of us aiming at a door camping, just being scumbags. And I'm sure that we were complained about, or that play style was complained about, because we do that all night.
Well, they made movement like way faster in this game. Like slide canceling is now like built into the game, and I don't know if you guys know what that is, but like you know, you used to have to do like a little like a 3-button press thing where it's like I don't even know how to do it on a controller. But in this game now, if you're sliding, you just hit A and it'll cancel the slide, and so they're like very specifically catering to the crowd of people online that were like really angry about all the changes last year. And then they're just throwing a nostalgia bomb at everybody. And I'm curious to see like if it's received well, or if people are just going to accuse them of being, was it slide weapon swap? Yeah, it was like a 4-button press or whatever.
Damn, Zach.
Yeah, so we're going back to Halo 2, fucking BXR and people.
Yeah, so they just baked it into the game now. They're like, there's like your tactical sprint recharges while you're sprinting now. It used to be before you'd have to like slow down and like you'd have to do a sprint cancel, and you just do that over and over again. So you're doing these like annoying button presses just constantly as you're like traversing the map in Warzone, and so yeah, I don't know. I gave up on trying to figure out if people are gonna like the new COD, and I just say like, listen, I'm gonna play it for like a month or two, probably gonna have a good time, and then I'm gonna move on to something else, whatever.
Multiplayer games are tough. Like I'm not an active enough gamer to be good anymore, and I'm 50. Like, am I seriously going to get good? Can I compete in these lobbies even if I try my hardest? When you said they're going to reuse all the maps from back in your heyday, Woody, I thought, ooh, so I'll be just as good as I used to be. No, there's a lot more holding me back than just map knowledge. It's going to blow. I'm going to get my shit pushed in. Maybe I belong in single player.
They added 50 HP. So like Modern Warfare 2, you start with 100 HP, and in this game you have 150 HP. So the gunfights are like, it's less about like flick and having good flick accuracy and just flicking on someone really fast and then killing him in 2 bullets like you could in Modern Warfare 2. And now you have to be good at something called tracking, where it's like you're literally like tracking the guy.
That's tough. It was flick and like anticipation. I always thought anticipation was probably more important than reaction time.
I think if you want to get us hooked on a game, it needs to be an Escape from Tarkov clone with no fucking guardrails, some real anti-cheat, and
gotta have magic in it.
And you gotta have 2 different worlds, one that wipes and one that doesn't. And,
what is a guardrail? What do you mean by that?
I mean that I think if like Activision made that game, we would make
Open
sure
world?
that things weren't as rough on new players. That game is brutal. I mean, we've talked about before how if you were really bad, you didn't have guidance, help, then you would run out of money. You would run out of everything in your stash down to your last item, and you'd be injured from the last time you tried to play.
You need a
your character
Sherpa.
would enter you need a
It's a game
Sherpa.
that you need a Sherpa, yeah.
And I
Yes.
wouldn't want that to change. I love how hardcore that game is and how you sort of earn your way into a club of depression.
But we
I
got
don't-
Sherpas
yeah.
because we have a podcast. Like, I really enjoyed Escape from Tarkov.
They have services, it's easy to get a Sherpa. People
Yeah.
love doing that shit.
That game is, and that game doesn't have any skill-based matchmaking too, but they're like specifically catering to a hardcore audience. That's the
Yeah.
difference. Like,
They are,
like
yeah.
they're looking for the people that are going to spend 8 hours a day playing that game. Yeah, it's not a casual game at all. And DMZ was like interesting, but ultimately just wasn't rewarding enough. So like, if Call of Duty did something like where they went more hardcore than what DMZ was, but not quite as hardcore as Escape from Tarkov, I feel like they could actually like get a lot of regular players if they did it right. But
Yeah, it's definitely too intimidating for like, because Kyle's offered before to me and been like, hey, you should hop on and try out, Tarkov, and we'll tell you when to use your chapstick and what brand of band-aids to use and how to repair
Those
the
are real
site on this.
things.
Those are
that's
real
right.
things.
And I like in my
Absolutely.
head, when you say
It's
those
important.
things to me, I'm like, that is so boring to me. Like the thought that I would
okay.
have to concern myself with minutia that doesn't really have to do with the furtherance of the game, the fighting. And
It
I
does,
get like
though.
really wanting to do it.
Oh,
and be
if
into
you
it,
think the game's about
I
fighting.
get, Baldur's Gate being fun. You're doing a
Yeah.
bunch of minutia there, but it all has to do with the evolution of your character and
Here's
the
the-
story.
If we were to try to play Tarkov, we would make it more about scavenging. It would be a scavenger Indiana Jones type game. And you'd need to go into it with that mindset, or you would be incredibly disappointed. Because if you went in like, when do we get to the gunfight? It's like, as soon as you want to die, bro, just let me know. like run that way and you'll be dead in 15 seconds if you just run that way.
And I don't
We
want to be
gotta
a
sneak.
burden to the rest of my team. Like when the stakes are that high that you're like picking what scent cologne to not scare off the forest bears or whatever. Like
Old Spice.
you,
But Taylor,
you don't
I had
want,
those vibes
I don't want to bother
too,
everyone.
But what I've learned, so I played a couple of wipes and I was really into Tarkov at a point. And at first, you are absolutely a burden. Look, I've got to build my own business before I can start supporting your family.
Yeah.
But once I'm there and, I've got like passive money generators and all this shit, and I'm loaded with cash, I'm more than happy to bring a friend along, and just enjoy your company. I've got extra money.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But the game that's probably best for that I keep wanting you to get you into is Rust, because it's similar in a lot of ways.
Isn't that
but-
even more intense than Tarkov?
Yeah,
Kind of.
Yeah.
but it's not as complicated because you're like a naked man in the wilderness. Your cock's out. We can have fun with that. You can have fun at Rust at the lowest level of Rust, and you can find service where people won't bully you. Whereas Tarkov, you can't do those things. You go into Tarkov and start goofing around, like making accents and wearing silly clothes. You're at the mercy of AI and teenagers with too much time on their hands. They're gonna kill you. But in Rust, we could go in there and role play and just your dick is literally out. And the game in Rust, I think the first time you log in and like, hey, I'm Taylor. I bought Rust. It's like, here's your character forever, Taylor. She's a woman with weird tits and a small, short cropped afro, and you're like, damn. And that's forever. I'm always gonna be that Asian
Okay,
man.
I like that. That's pretty funny.
I'm an Asian man, forever. And he used to have a big dick, but I swear to God, there was an update where they like made all the dicks closer to some sort of median. So, because I bet some people got micro penises and got shit on, but I swear my dick used to be bigger.
There's nothing wrong with micro penises. People shouldn't shit on those. They're cool.
in Cyberpunk, you could actually customize the length of your dick in that game. I think there's 3 choices, but there might just be 2. Like
I guarantee you, my theory is true that if guys could choose their own penis size, they'd all be too big.
100%, because it'd be a Cold War. It'd be like, well, I saw a guy walking around with an 11-inch flaccid penis. I'm not going to be the guy not. Yeah, I'm going to be one-upped by my neighbor. I'm going to have a totally non-functional 14-inch penis where every time I get hard, I go into a
I get lightheaded.
I have a seizure. Yeah.
The way
And,
I fuck is with a
Baldur's
series
Gate.
of rubber bands.
See, this is the quote unquote woke stuff that doesn't bother me a bit. In Baldur's Gate, you can assign any genitals or like top, titties or no titties, whatever you want to call it, to any character. And so I love that I've got that many vaginal options. There's like 4 different vulvas. I did download a mod because I wanted to make some alterations here and there. But I thought that was awesome. I don't give a shit about that.
What did you guys think of the Starfield pronouns debacle?
I don't think they know about it, so fill us in.
You guys have no idea what I'm talking about?
I heard something
I
about
only
it,
heard
and I
that it
downloaded
exists.
Starfield, but I didn't play yet because my buddies who are all into it were like, "Oh, don't even bother. It's not like Skyrim." Like,
Really? It feels
Yeah.
pretty similar to Skyrim to me.
oh, maybe I'll have to try it anyway. But fill me in.
I
Something with pro-
put 200 hours into that game. I fucking put in the time. I had a great time, but then I had a similar experience like with Diablo, where it was like one day I was like, nah, I'm good. Like everything felt easy. I had leveled my character up massively. I had these like really powerful guns, and I was like, this just doesn't really feel that fun to me anymore. But in that game, when you're doing the character customization, you choose like a male or a female like body type or whatever, and then when it goes to your name, there is an option to customize your pronouns, and it defaults to the cis option. So like if you pick a male, it'll default to he him. If you pick a female, it'll default to she her. So like if you want to engage in that system, you have to like it doesn't force you to like choose a pronoun or whatever.
Yeah.
And this one guy who's like, he does a lot of like anti-woke stuff on YouTube or whatever. He filmed himself doing a rant for like 2 minutes where he is screaming with the passion of like a civil rights, like champion from the fucking 60s. Like he's
What a fucking loser.
He is so furious. And then that sparked like a whole conversation on social media that stretched out for like a week. But yeah, some people were pissed about that, but I'm surprised you guys didn't hear about
Did
that.
people actually
It kind
return
of lights my. Gives me joy that both sides have their snowflakes.
that with like who I just don't imagine. Was he mad about the rest of the game? Was he like, and also the fucking planes suck?
His thing was like he didn't like being current dayed. So like for him it broke his immersion because apparently in his version of the future,
We'll get past all the silliness.
there's not going to be any pronouns or whatever. But he was just like he felt like it immediately it kicked him out of his experience and broke his immersion. And then there was also, spoiler alert, mild spoiler alert. There's a character in the game that reveals that she's the clone of a man. She's not trans. The character is not trans, but she was cloned from a man.
Yeah.
And he lost his shit there because he interpreted it to mean that she was trans. And so at that point, he was just, and when you like, when being sort of like anti-woke is your whole thing, then like when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail kind of a situation. And he just, he was furious.
If that's how your bread is buttered, you're going to find a way to be upset about it.
I just don't care about that. They should solve that by everyone, no pronouns, just ranks. Lieutenant Johnson, Private Johnson.
See, now more ranks would help.
Johnson, is that you?
Well, it's like an RPG, and when we're talking about RPGs, like one of the best things that you can do if you're going to do an RPG, and I'm sure you guys know what like Baldur's Gate. I don't know what their character customization is like, but I assume it's really like vast, right? And
it's huge.
That's gonna be a strength. Like you want as many options as you possibly can to customize your character in an RPG, and so
Takes forever to your first. I made 3 or 4 characters before I actually started the fucking game. Because it's so vast and it's easy to be like, I skipped a whole chapter of customizations. My hair's the basic bitch hair. You got to go back.
I do remember we made fun of some person, or maybe it was a group of people during Baldur's Gate who were like, I will not download this because there's a bear fucking an elf.
I want to deny them like a moment of, I don't know, ad revenue or like $1 of fucking rental money or whatever. I guess I'm a little hypocritical when it comes to Tarkov because it's a Russian company and everything, but I'm off that now. I'm definitely not going back to Tarkov. Like they lost me too.
So even though they sort of made amends and gave us that DLC for free, for included in the price, you're not forgiving.
Look, he has apologized, and I'm not kidding. Like all right, fake apologies, Russian apologies. He'll be like, I'm sorry you are in your feelings like this for what we did. It's like, wait, what? You're sorry that we feel bad about what you did to us? That's like sort of suggesting that we're in our own little universe where what you did is offensive, and you're in reality where it isn't quite so. We're all in the same reality where you did is horse shit, and everybody's pointing it out, luckily. But no, he's apologized or gone back or like, oh, actually, the package will be this, and this package will do that, and it'll be for 6 months. And like he's moved so many like pieces around the board on what you get for what amount of money and what kind of discount refund. And every day it's new because they're seeing how bad it is every day, and it's not getting better. The cheaters, there's big groups of cheaters who have said we're only killing the people who bought that new shit. If we see you and you've bought the $250 version, we are bullying you. We're coming for you.
The new version is cheaters galore. So for people who don't play this game, here's how it works. The cheating. You have an aimbot, and you know where all the loot is on the map because you have hacks. So now you kill everyone, you take their stuff, you go to the parts of there'll be like a 1 in 30 chance that this key card spawns here. Well, you know. So you go right to where all the best stuff is, you hoover it up, and then you can sell it for real life money. Well, one of the things that the expensive version of the game is going to give you is an Avengers Endgame like circle where you can summon your friend group and they enter the game near you, like to help you out with firefights. The idea is it's like a radio, you call for help, and then they show up in the game to give you a hand. Well, combine that ability to call in your friends and put them right next to you with the cheater hacker ability to grab all the loot off the map, and you have a game that is custom made to reward people who use real life money for in-game progression.
Or to stream snipe, because the big part of stream sniping is getting in the right lobby. So what they'll do is they'll watch the streamer, and then like a Discord full of people all on the same call will they'll have a guy in every region. They'll have different people in different regions of the world if they don't know what servers he's on, because then they lock the server down, and then they're all on the same server and they're all clicking at the same time. And once you get into his lobby, it's like, I got in. Oh, I didn't. Okay, here's my portal. Hop in here, bro. Come on, everybody. Throw your portals down. This is the landmark lobby. I
didn't think of that. Yeah, he is going to get blasted by teams. All the streamers will. And, you can play the game kind of carelessly and for like $4 get 20 million rubles and continue to play it wild like that. And it's a different experience for cheaters. And I'm afraid it's going to ruin the game.
Oh, I'm done with them. Fuck them. I signed up for the beta for
Gray Zone.
Gray Zone's not more PvE. I mean, there is PvP, but I don't like the look of Gray Zone. I don't like how they do their like. There's some mechanic where as you log in, somebody can just be waiting and kill you and take all your shit that you've got on.
It seems like a bad mechanic.
So I mean, it's still early for that game. It's a pretty new game. There's another one though. I signed up for the beta for it, so hopefully I get into it. And it's more it's the Chinese game they didn't just port the mobile version over. They made a PC version of a very popular Chinese mobile extraction shooter. I'm spacing on the name of it right now, but it's like it doesn't matter. It looks like a AAA title though. It looks like Call of Duty to me, but it's an extraction shooter, and it has all the modular fucking rifle mechanics and all the grips and doodads and all that horse shit. So I hope they take a big market share. I hope a bunch of Tarkov streamers switch over. If they're smart, they'll pay guys like Bastillion, Landmark, and they'll do drops. And they'll do, because that's how Tarkov got so big. Those drops,
but they didn't pay them.
No, I mean they've paid streamers certainly, but they don't. Okay. But the drops and getting streamers onto your game and to do certain things would be massive for them, because it's been big for Tarkov. And God, I'm done with Tarkov. It doesn't matter what they do. Like I'll never play that.
You have no games right now. And you're really into history.
Yeah. What can I play? Do you think? Maybe some Warhammer.
Maybe some
new DLC
Warhammer.
Over there. There's some new Empire DLC I hear.
There's just not enough to that game.
Oh, really? Just the same thing over and over, huh?
It's just it's just too short. You don't have to build up into anything. It's fun every once in a while.
Don't have to worry about your villagers, though. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like some people are FPS, 80 IQ gamers, and that's fine. Like some people don't have the APM to play RTS games effectively, and that's totally cool. Like I get it. It's probably like you wouldn't be able to balance it. You get stressed out, you get flustered, and that's all right. Some people just like a simple point and click and searching through backpacks, and you have fun doing that. sorting through your backpacks.
This
and
is
looking
kind
for
of
the
funny.
key cards. That's fine.
How does he know so
probably
much about this
don't-
game he's never played? He's really
He's watched
nailing
me
us.
play.
Yeah,
He's watched me play.
Some of
Yeah.
us like organizing our stash.
It's a nice,
just
simple
saying.
game.
I
for
love
nice.
organizing
It's a
my
simple
stash.
game for simple guys,
There's
and I
a
think that's
mechanic
great.
where you go to your thing and you do some bench presses.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I
Video
love
I
games
get
the
it.
bench press
It's
workout.
really intimidating to go play like a really complicated game that takes.
I'd rather play
active
Scriblio.
strategizing.
I'd rather play Scriblio than AO.
You know what's
AOE
funny is
or
I'd beat your
whatever.
ass less in AOE than I do in Scriblio.